Hey, good morning, everybody. I told you I was going to wear my hoodie every day. I wore my hoodie till 2 seconds ago when I took it off. So every single day, in honor of Christmas Pete, who donates his time and his energy to make all children in North Georgia smile, I wore it to the studio because I was freezing. When I left home this morning, it was real cold. But now I got on my Bob Mackie sweater, and it's to celebrate. We're celebrating, and we'll tell you in a little bit what we're celebrating. Somebody had a birthday, and we're going to celebrate that shortly. But we are going to be talking finance, money, crazy, what's going on in 2026, what's gone on in 2025, and has the world come to their senses yet? We'll see, because 2026 is going to be the year that I officially get older than dirt. And so I think the good Lord's looking down saying, I've given you plenty of time to figure this out. Have you got it figured out yet? Well, no. And look at my hair. I bet Leah Logan is sitting in front of the TV going, I'm going to kill her for going on TV with that hair looking like that. I've been up since 4:30 a.m. I went to bed at midnight, and I couldn't sleep. Was it the full moon?
I don't know. I had a hard time going to sleep last night, but I always wake up at 4:35, so.
God, Paul, I just wasn't ready to wake up, and I could not go back to sleep. I kept trying. But the worst thing I did, picked up this sucker and started scrolling, looking at the weather, worrying about the parade, and should I get this and should I do this. So at 7:30 this morning, I'm out loading up stuff for the parade, getting ready. We are going to have the biggest parade we've ever had in Ball Ground. We happen to have the best parade in North Georgia, and if you don't come and spend time at our parade, then you are missing out on a big to-do. Now, big to-dos are happening in the world today. I understand Dell Computers, lots of money being spent. Ford Motor Company, lots of money being invested in trying to help the automotive industry. It is suffering. It is sucking up to about as bad as it's ever been.
It really is.
And people are struggling. So some things are going to be happening. I think 2026 is going to be good. Number one, I'm going to live to be older than my daddy, my mama, my Aunt Lou, my Aunt Betty.
Okay.
I'm living to be older than anybody. Not anybody, but a lot of people.
But family, it sounds like.
Family, yeah. I have, but the difference in me, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't dip, I don't vape. I barely take a Tylenol.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't look like the picture of health because I'm not 126 and a little, you know, whatever. But it's crazy. I feel good. I'm just old. I'm old.
It happens fast.
You know, somebody told me they watched one of our shows when you and I first started, and they said, he was a child.
I was, really.
I said, yes, I know he was a child.
Yeah.
I said, we have matured together.
Yes.
And we have matured together. Now, I understand some things are happening in your life that are going to be really good. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yes.
But let's talk a little bit about what do people have to look forward to in 2026?
In 2026 now, you know, I'm always warning people to be prudent. But
he's going to tell us to spend all our money now.
No.
Have you changed your opinion?
No. I mean, we're just in a situation.
We don't have any money left to spend, so never mind.
So what do we have to look forward to in 2026? That's a good question. You know, family, truth, the pursuit of truth, hopefully getting back to the basis of the foundation and the morality and the character that has given us the foundation for the economy that we have received today. Mm-hmm. But I think 2026 is going to be full of opportunity, and I do believe it's also going to be full of challenges too. There's just a lot of things that have reached maximum efficiency in our economy. People are struggling. One of the things I'm going to talk about here, some of just information that's come to light here recently. But, you know, the good thing is we live in a free country. Mm-hmm. We still have freedom of speech. We're not being jailed like they are in Europe for posting pictures of.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, a guy posts a picture on social media with a gun in the U.S. and gets home to Europe and goes to jail.
Yeah.
But yet, you know, these individuals that are raping girls are getting off scot-free. So
smack them on the hand, send them out, let them do it again. Yeah.
I think one of the things we have to look forward to is from peak delusion back to reality. Mm-hmm. Will probably begin in 2026.
I look at your family, and you and Hollie have been married from about the same age that Charlie Kirk and Erica were married. You were very young. You started out. Everybody knows the true fact that this financial wizard lived in a double-wide mobile home.
I did.
That you stressed to pay for with a young family with 3 children. Is there anything about your life that you were that family that came together, and you weren't from a perfect family.
No.
Not to downgrade anybody.
Right.
But you were not from a perfect family. You had seen abuse. You had seen violence.
Right.
I had done the same thing. And so when we live in a family that there's abuse and violence, it scares you when you set up a family yourself.
Right.
Are you going to inflict that violence on somebody? Are you going to degrade somebody? Are you going to talk down to somebody? Or are you going to treasure them? I would vote to say you have always treasured your beautiful wife.
I have. I mean, we've had arguments and fights, and I think.
I bet you've never hit her. I bet you've never.
No, never.
Never. Yeah, there are certain lines you don't cross.
Yeah.
And I wish J.S. Martin was standing right here. He would say, "We're not pouting. You can get over that." I started to say a bad word, and I'd say, "Okay," because I used to get my feelings hurt, and I would swell up, and he's like, "Get over it."
Yeah.
So, but never, never hit, slap, anything like that. Little cousin throwing stuff every once in a while, but but what a great life y'all have lived. What amazing children you've raised. One of them challenged you a little bit.
One of them challenged me a little bit, but
and he's amazing.
He's done
amazing.
well. I mean, and
he did his own thing.
And I would rather have, you can't put. I've always made the comment that you can't put it in them, but you can help them learn to rein it in.
Yeah.
And so and I will say this, all of that is a testimony to God's grace. So. One of the things that you kind of learn when you come from a household that had a pretty nasty divorce is, am I going to fall into that same thing and embrace bitterness, or which it does happen a lot. I mean, 50% of marriages, less than 50% of marriages.
Sadly, we learn from our parents.
I think it's like only 48% of marriages or 52% of marriages now end in divorce. So I was very fortunate by God's grace to meet a woman who believed that the commitment mattered. And then 2, I'm still a knucklehead. I was a knucklehead back then. And
Hollie's going, yes, you are.
I mean, she'll agree. I mean, I can't give
and
Kel.
Your kids are going, go Dad, go Dad.
Yeah, I mean, I can't give Kel a hard time. I mean, when Hollie and I first moved
back to Ellijay. You were killing steroids.
Let me tell you, so this is an example of what my poor wife had to put up with. When we first moved back to Ellijay, for whatever reason, we had to go to Blue Ridge to the Social Security office. And we're sitting there, and me being me, I'm talking to Hollie, and I thought I recognized this lady that was sitting on the other side over there. And then all of a sudden, she jumps up and comes over there and sticks her finger in my face. She goes, "I figured out who you are. You're Paul Kiker, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I am." And she looked at my wife and said, "He was the worst kid to ever come through the Sunday school program at First Baptist." And I think, just to make myself...
And Hollie's like, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, she was like, oh, my gosh, what have I got into? And I think Kel or Katie was sitting there at the time. So, but, my Uncle Ben gave us some advice, and this advice to be true. And I share this with any young couple that's out there. He said, here's you, here's your wife. And he said, up here is God. And if you will seek the Lord... right, then as you get closer to Him, you get closer together. Okay, and look, we're saved by grace. We're sinners saved by grace. And I was having a conversation with somebody the other day. I said, "I'm sorry," means I change. Right? I'm sorry means that if it's something that I struggle with, instead of doing it every day, maybe it's 3 weeks, maybe it's 10 weeks, maybe it's a year, but you're always going further, right? In between those failures. So, we've had to learn and we fought through, but so that was one thing, is he says you get closer. So we took that serious. And because Uncle Ben and Vicky been married a long time.
100 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's like 120 now or something like that. I'm teasing.
Yeah, Moses. Yeah.
But
he is such a good guy.
He is
such a good guy. Yeah.
He is a good
yeah,
guy. So
yeah.
and set a good example for
And
us.
and that's what I started to say. Thank God you had him to be that influence in your life and to say this is what it's about. It's
Yeah.
not about you and she. It's about the whole picture.
Yeah, and he took the time to, I didn't know to go ask for that back then. He took the time to pull me aside and speak that to us. So, and then the second thing is somebody on her side of the family says, never go to bed angry. So I'm telling you, we had
No, listen, my reply to that, stay up and fight all night.
yeah. I mean, there's been several times like,
Yeah.
I'm a stubborn knucklehead, okay? And when I think I'm right, I really dig in.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so there was plenty of times 3 o'clock in the morning. It took me till 3 o'clock in the morning to really realize. And then the third thing is, which I tell people, was I was the disciplinarian. Now Hollie was. They were more scared of her than they were me. But I was a quicker
Were
disciplinarian.
they really?
That's what they say.
Oh, wow. That is so weird to me.
Because
Because all women use this. You wait till your daddy gets home. You
Yeah.
just wait till your daddy gets
Yes.
home. If you don't right now, I'm telling your daddy.
well,
All women use it.
that worked, right? So when I got home, I dealt with them, but I'm a real quick fuse, but I don't hold on to it. Now Hollie's a slow fuse, but if it was like, you better wait till your daddy gets
Dynamite.
home, and then they continued to cross that threshold.
Oh, no.
It was like a nuclear bomb going off in the house, right?
Yeah.
So, but I can't tell you how many times, I'm grateful, and I tell the boys, I'm like, don't marry somebody that is not going to challenge you. Because I can't tell you how many times I go up there, especially with Kel, and I'd give him a 45-minute lecture, and he's about to go to sleep.
He's going,
you know,
oh my
after
gosh, I mean, she just
getting-
does.
bless
I've heard
him.
this
I mean,
before.
He went through a lot. And then I'd walk down the stairs and I'd be like, Lord, did I do okay? I think I did, and I'd walk in the bedroom and she'd just chew me out. She's like, I can't come up with an example. And then I'd think about it for a minute, and then I'm like, you know what? And then I'd go upstairs and knock on the door and apologize.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so, but a lot of it's by God's grace. And I will tell you, I am at the point in my life now where, I prayed a prayer a long time ago that I'm like, look, if I trust the Lord, do whatever it is you see fit with me to set me on the path that you would have me walk. I wanted to be a man the man that God created me to be. I fell at that so much, but I still kind of prayed that prayer. And the thing that I recognize when you come through that, you accept that God's in control of your life. And the Bible tells you that what the enemy uses for evil, he will use for your good. And I can look back to you, no matter how many heartbroken nights I had, how many stresses, I remember crying on the way home. When Hollie we were in the trailer, she was home, I was starting the investment business. I was going into work early in the morning, trying hard and working, doing everything that I could, but the stress, and I had a lot of friends that were doing far better than I was at the time.
And this was a period of time you came through it. And I can name multiples who took their own lives.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you had the strength that God put in you.
Yeah.
Because there were multiples in our community who during this financial disasters that you have survived and you have walked the path through ended their lives.
Yeah. Now, I have never shared this really publicly. I have individually, but I faced that in 2014, 2015.
Wow.
That was later. I'll come back to that. So, but I remember doing that, when we were so broke and we were trying to make ends meet, and it was important for her to stay at home with the kids, and we both agreed to make the sacrifice. But I look back, and those were some of the best times of our lives. And
your children benefited from you struggling and suffering.
yeah.
I mean, the kids, they had their mom.
And I'll tell you, and some of our lifelong friends were the people that would come visit us. They didn't care that we lived in a trailer. They didn't care. They were much more successful than we were at the time. There were some people who
What
didn't
year
want to
was
come
your
by.
mobile home?
It was 1997, I think. Repo double wide. Now, get this. So when we felt like the Lord was calling us to move back to Ellijay.
I love when people say, is it a modular home or is it a mobile home?
Oh, no, it was mobile. They pulled it from Milledgeville up here.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
now it was a double wide.
Don't mistake but it is what it is, and it was a beautiful home, and you made it a beautiful home.
Oh, yeah. And it grieves my heart today that regulations, nobody wants a mobile home here because especially with the barrier to entry to
It's affordable.
to houses,
It's affordable living.
And look, I'll tell every one of you that's out there that wants to keep mobile homes from being established, shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on
you.
you.
Yeah.
Because,
I'm gonna tell
because
you a
don't need to
story.
be controlling what somebody next door does just because of the fact that you think it's going to hurt your home price.
That's right.
That is incredibly good affordable housing, and we have none here. So shame on you.
Exactly.
Okay, because it was a great thing for me. It laid the foundation for us for Hollie to stay at home. It cost me like $350 a month to be there. Now, granted, I did park it on family land.
That's what I was about to say.
Uncle Ben
If
and
you're
Vicky
lucky
had it
enough
there.
that you have family land, that's where you get in trouble, because if you have to buy the land and get it prepared to put a mobile home on,
Yeah.
you end up spending almost $300,000, which is just
Because
insane.
of the stupid regulations that are out there to help sell more things for the corporations. But anyway, don't want to get started on that.
Here we go. Yeah.
So I remember, and there was a time too where I came home and we just couldn't make our ends meet that month. And Hollie and I sat down and prayed, and I was like, look, I've got like $375 in the bank.
And our payment's $350.
And I can't remember what our payment was. Our payment was $350, but like my expenses were like $500 or something. So I told Hollie, I said, all I know to do is trust the Lord. I said, and the Lord was challenging me on something because I really didn't agree with the way the church was spending money at the time. But the Lord is like, you are to obey me. I'll deal with that. So I was like, okay, that was a really good lesson. And Hollie was in agreement. I said, look, honey, the only thing I know is trust the Lord. Let's just give all this to the church this weekend. So we gave everything on that Sunday. Everything. That was all I had, right? That Monday, we got a refund from the insurance policy on a house that we had sold in Milledgeville, our first home. This was like 2 years later. It took them that long to find us.
Oh my gosh.
And it was enough it was like $1,500 or something.
So your $350 went to $500 to
$1,500.
$750 to $1,500.
And genuinely, that was the turning point for us.
Yeah.
And
I love the turning point. Charlie Kirk said it best. There is a turning point in all our lives.
Yeah.
There is a turning point in every life here.
Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times the Lord's taken me to the points like, are you going to trust me or are you going to do it your own way? And every time that I've taken that leap to just trust Him like that, it's worked out.
And sometimes you scratch your head and think, what was I thinking? But it does work out.
Yeah.
It really does. So
now, and then to follow through with that on the other side, and I just can't reiterate again. I've had a lot of, from the outside it looks really easy. I don't, try to show it, but there's been a lot of challenges and things that I've had to overcome that Hollie's had to walk me through, the Lord's had to shape out of me. And I would say right now, no matter who has offended me, no matter who has hurt me, no matter who has tried to attack me in an unrighteous
you
way,
and talk down to you and
or
talk about you,
told lies about me,
yeah.
I hold absolutely nothing against them because I
It's
don't
on them.
think
It's on them.
Well, and I don't think I would have sought the Lord without it. So I wouldn't change. There's times I would have, but I wouldn't change anything about my life going back, because of the good fruit that the Lord's brought out of it. Now, that doesn't mean that, life is life. I mean, tragedy could happen tomorrow. I could, absolutely screw up and just, just be a idiot. But I hope that's not the case. But then we jump forward, and I'll share this because I think this is maybe it'll encourage people out there with some of the things we'll talk about here in a minute. But, the reality is there was a period of time where I was like, okay, Lord, I trust you kind of with, everything in my life. Please help me to have wisdom to help manage money for clients. Now, this was around 2004, 2005. I'd just gone independent.
Before the failure that happened 4 years later.
No, so the failure was 10 years later.
Okay.
Okay, as far as where I really struggled with suicide. So this was after. It was probably 2001 when we gave everything away and the Lord turned, and then we went independent, and I left corporate and opened Kiker, what is today Kiker Wealth Management, in January 1st, 2004. So about that time, I actually had the freedom. I didn't have some back office in St. Louis or wherever telling me what needs to be done for clients.
Because you felt in your heart and you knew exactly what needed to be done.
Yeah, I mean, and my whole key for leaving corporate was the company that I was with was still a great company. A lot of really good people with them. But they had their preferred fund families, and they didn't disclose that they were getting kickbacks. And and it came out in the Wall Street Journal right after I went independent. But I was at a meeting, and they were wanting me to go up through, corporate, and they're like, the one problem is, you're not using our preferred fund families. And I used a lot of research for the mutual funds we were using back then. Don't use mutual funds much anymore. And that just broke my trust. And I'm like, man, I got to meet these clients at the grocery store. I got to meet them. I didn't know this. They didn't disclose it to me. Had they disclosed it to me, then I could have disclosed it to clients. And so I remember calling my Uncle Charles, and I was like, hey, because I thought Uncle Charles was going to be like, you're an idiot. And I said, look, I can't continue down this corporate path. I don't think that I can. Do you think I'm crazy if I open my own business? And he, I just knew he was going to talk me out of it. And he said, no. He said, you're young enough, jump. If it doesn't work, go back to work for the big corporation.
Yeah.
So we jumped, and Hollie was in support of that. So, but after that, around 2004, 2005, I discovered the risk-managed approach. And I look back, and it was just by God's grace. But I was screaming from the hilltops that we were getting ready to go into an economic calamity. And I was, and I had people calling, telling me, because I was recommending that people sell local bank stocks. And I had people
I sold
call.
mine, thank God, before the bank failed.
I had somebody call me and tell me that they were going to run me out of business, which they were a very powerful person at the time if I didn't quit telling people that. But I was young and stubborn enough, by God's grace.
And truthful.
And just truthful. I'm like, it's just math, guys.
The truth will stand.
It's just math.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we had the calamity. Well, that was probably the best thing that had happened to the business and to the investment business and our clients, because we sidestepped that big downturn. And it was strictly by God's grace, I'm telling you. Now, I found the strategy that we're utilizing today, but I really believe that was by God's grace. So come 2012, 2013, this is what happens. Like, our business had doubled. Things were great. There was a lot of calamity going on around. And I just thought that, man, I got this figured out and right and whatever. Well, around 2014, our strategy hit a wall. And every strategy that you use, okay, whether it's passive investing, whether it's active management, it doesn't matter what it is. There are seasons where it works better than others. And what I didn't realize is I had a lot of performance chasing clients. There are a lot of clients that struggle over the long term. Bull markets help them be successful, but all they chase is return. They don't care how they get it. They don't care how unsustainable or how risky it is. They just want to keep up with the Joneses. And not all people, and some people just don't know. They're just performance chasers, right? So around 2015, 16, we didn't lose money for clients, but we sure weren't making as much money for clients as what they were if they were just, and it was rough. I genuinely thought that I was going to, fail in business. And I care so much about these clients, it was really breaking my heart. And I had hungered, always asked God for wisdom. I felt like a fool. And in genuine reality, from the outside looking in, I was a fool. And so I remember people had called, and I always had people that were wanting to buy the business. And I told Hollie, I'm done. I'm out. I can't take this stress anymore. I don't understand what's going on. Our strategy's not working.
Let me stop you right there. This is what's so funny about you. Yesterday, my friend was recommending you to somebody. And you knew her husband, Don Holyfield.
Yes.
And she says she compares your kindness and your loyalty and your truthfulness to her husband, which is a great compliment.
That's a compliment.
That is a great compliment.
And
she said, I wished to God I had called Paul Kiker and let him take over Don's business. But she was such a failure herself because she didn't know how to live her life without him.
That's
she did not know to make that phone call, but you would have gotten his whole business because she just let it go away because she fell apart. And we had this conversation yesterday, and she said Paul is such a genuinely good man.
I try.
So,
and it's all by God's grace.
Yep.
Cut me off at the four-way stop, and I might wave at you with 4 less fingers than I should. That's my big weakness, y'all. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But so that's an amazing honor, enough to nearly make me cry. So we get into this period of time, and I, so I call, and they're like, "We're not buying right now." And I'm, geez, So then I had a client that was always asking me to come work for him. So I call him up and I'm like, I'm on the verge of tears. I'm like, I just can't take this anymore. Like, I care about the clients too much. We're really struggling. This is tough. I just don't think I have the skill set for this anymore. And maybe I was a one-hit wonder in 2007, 2008. Mm-hmm. And so the client and friend was like, instead of jumping on it, they're like, well, let me think about it and pray about it for the night. And I was like, what do you mean? You've been begging me for like 4 years. I want out. So the next morning they called and they said, look, I prayed about it last night. As much as I'd love to have us work together, the answer is no, because I really feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Y'all, that was like somebody
slapped you in the head.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, prior to that, I would say, so within the next 2 weeks of that phone call, I just felt stuck. I had some clients that were firing me. I ran into a good longtime client, still client today, that I saw in the grocery store, didn't even speak to me.
Wow.
And I'm like, you just don't understand. I'm trying. I'm doing all the research that I can do.
Yeah.
It was just the greatest weaknesses of our approach kind of came to the forefront. And so I had really become extremely depressed, and to the point that I was suicidal.
And do you remember during that time, you were comforting me because I had just buried my daughter. So at your lowest point in your life, you're a comfort to me.
And
I couldn't have made
dark.
it without you.
Oh my gosh, that's such a...
I could not have made it without you. You were there for me every day. And I knew there was somebody I could pick up the phone and call.
But seeing the pain that you went through, and then looking at my kids, and then I had a grandfather that committed suicide. And I just couldn't do it. And I said, Lord, I can't do this without you. And I got on my knees. I said, Lord, if it's your will, I didn't think I'd relive these emotions. If it's your will for me to be a fool when I've asked to be wise, and if it's your will that there are people hurt because of the research that I'm doing and the pursuit of truth, then I pray that you'll protect them and protect them from me. And I accept that path if that's the path you have for me. And literally, like that day we wrote the last check, that was the day things changed.
Yeah.
And when I look back in hindsight, every single client that I lost, I needed to lose. Mm-hmm. And then I had the absolute best clients that were with us, and they referred us like-minded individuals. And then you get forward. There were a couple other things for the sake of time not go through. You get forward to the point where I get that call from Chris Martinson at Peak Prosperity, and he's like, look, you're one of the few guys that's still running a risk managed strategy.
Right. And
he puts me through the ringer, and we established this relationship where we're doing the podcast, and he's sending people in. And I'm telling you, 95% of the clients that I'm getting around the world are Christians. They're good people. They care about their families. They care about this country, and they love the truth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's no way that I would have been prepared to help these people and operate through whatever may be coming in the future and what we've been through here recently if the Lord hadn't have taken me through that period of time and that testing. And so
everything we go through is for a reason.
Yeah.
We don't understand it. We don't, and I was telling the boys today, since I lost a child to suicide, I now am a member of a club where many people have lost their child to suicide. Yeah. And it's not just me, it's everybody out there is going to face something. I hope you never face what I faced, but you're going to face something.
You're going to face it.
And you have one choice, and that is to trust Him.
That's the only thing.
That's all you can do.
You have two choices, actually. And, and the one thing I want to say before I kind of get into that is I was always amazed with everything that you went through and how positive you stayed. And I know that there were times where it was just on... You didn't see when I slammed
the door and went in the bedroom.
I know that was a choice that you made.
It was.
But so you lifted me through that period of time. And if I was a blessing to you, it's by God's grace, because I felt so dark during that window.
Well, and I tell people every day, and they think that I'm full of crap. I would never have made it through my daughter's death if those cameras weren't rolling.
Yeah.
Because 10 days after her death, I came back to television. My producer said, "It's too soon. You won't make it." I said, "No, you don't understand. If I'm not in front of a camera for an hour a day and I have to get my act together for 1 hour, then that will lead me to 2 hours. I'll get my act together, then 3 hours." Because I was ready to go in the door, slam the door on my life. And by the grace of God, somebody would call me when I'd get off the air and they'd say, "I just wanted to share with you, I lost my son last night to suicide. I just wanted to share with you, my mom just died of cancer like yours did. I lost my mother and my husband 6 weeks from each other. Then I lost my daughter and then a son that I had raised since he was 8 years old. And then I just kept on losing things. But at the same time, I kept collecting myself." Does that make sense?
God kept picking you
Does
up
that
as
make
you were
sense?
choosing. Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. It does.
because I didn't give in and I didn't give up. Now there were days that they'd turn the cameras off and I would bawl my eyes out, but then I would be okay.
Yeah.
So if I had not come back to this, I wouldn't have made it.
Right.
I wouldn't have made it. And I think God used me to lift those who have now. I mean, I got a message the other day. Her daughter died on Thanksgiving like 4 years ago. And I had known her all these years since my daughter died. And she said, "I never thought I'd join your club." And I said, "I don't invite anybody to join my club because
Right.
it sucks.
Right.
You don't want to be president of my club.
No.
It's hard. But you were the stronghold for me because you kept telling me that God will get you through. And every week I would listen to what you would say about God's going to get us through this. God can bring us through this. We have to trust Him. And I just said, "Okay, Lord, it's up to you because I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this." So we
it-
both know we had failures going.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And
We made it. We made it. 21 years.
21
we made
years.
it.
It's hard to believe.
It's
It's really
crazy.
hard to believe.
It's crazy. We made it. Yeah.
And I want to encourage people, you know, one of the reasons I'm not a big believer in trying to live in a plastic face and act like we've got it all together, right? Like I really struggle with the people who never admit that they have weaknesses or that they struggle with things or never admit to making a mistake, right? I mean, I get it because it's an insecurity thing and you want to have this image and all, but that's not the reality. And it doesn't help mentor other people through things. Because could you imagine if you were just a plastic face and on the other side of that you didn't show any pain and said it's whatever, you know? It's not the hurt. Life is hard and it's challenging. And marriage is hard. Everything in life is hard. We live in a fallen and sinful world. And it's not if you're out there and tragedy has not hit you, it's coming.
Get ready.
It's
ready.
coming. We don't get out of this life without pain.
Put your helmet on. You're going to get hit by a truck before it's over.
We don't get through this without family conflict, but you have a choice. You can give in to bitterness and hate, and then you can spiral down into that hatred to where you want to destroy the other person. You want to destroy the world per se. And there's a lot of people that are out there like that. Or you can humble yourself and you can go to the Lord and say, "God, I can't do this. I need you to help me get rid of this bitterness, this hate, this frustration that I feel." And then I was really struggling one time with an individual that I had a lot of hurt towards and didn't understand what was going on. I was reading the Bible one time and it's like Satan is the accuser of men. And I had been going to the Lord, it's like, judge between them and judge between me and them. Because you know, I really had tried, not perfectly, but tried to best in my humanity to do what the Lord was asking me to do. And then I shifted from, "Lord, you know, this is unfair. Lord, please just bless them. Please bless them and help me to forgive." Forgiveness is for us. Forgiveness frees us up, and God, through a miraculous, I don't understand it, okay? His ways are higher than ours. That you actually have a heart to where you want what's best for them, but you can still put a boundary outside of your life to where, okay, I'm not going to give in to all this manipulation and this attack, and I'm just going to set a boundary. and I'm going to pray that God will bless them. And the freedom that is in that is greater than anything that you can ever possibly comprehend. Bitterness is a chain. Bitterness spirals into hate, and that's a chain. It's a ball and chain that keeps you from being able to be the light in the world that God wants you to be, right? And that's the challenge that we all go through. I think everything from the evil side, if you believe that there's a spiritual war in this, wants to attack us like Job was attacked. You know, just curse God and die, as wife said. And you know, there's times where
my sweet Dawn would bring that up day after day to me, and she said, "Mama, look what Job lost," and she said, "You'll be okay. You'll be okay."
And he did. He and I think God, you know, if we lose it in our humanity and we cuss at God or we're mad at him, he's bigger than that. He can handle it. I'm not saying that it's okay. I'm just saying that he loves us and he'll forgive us. If we're faithful and just to confess our sins, he'll heal us from our sins. And sinning is just missing the mark, right? Okay, if I shoot a free throw, technically, and I miss it, I miss the mark. I sinned, okay? So, but choosing the forgiveness. So if there's anybody that's out there and you're struggling with bitterness, you're struggling with hate towards somebody, I can't encourage you enough. There is freedom on the other side of that. There is freedom from the amount of time that the bitterness causes that to capture your thought process. And anytime it's capturing your thought process, it's keeping you from being in the relationship with your loved ones that you really need. And there's freedom in that forgiveness. So seek the Lord. Now, I will say this. If somebody breaks the law and murders somebody else, they should experience the death penalty. That is justice. But you still have to forgive the person for the in their humanity, even though there still has to be justice. That's a fine line that I think people have a hard time understanding.
It is hard.
So you can still have a boundary where it's like, look, I'm just not going to let that manipulation and that vitriol back into my life. I will if that person comes and says, hey, I really want to mend this. But if they're not willing to do it, that's okay, right? You go to the Lord, you pray for their blessing, you ask the Lord to help you forgive them, and it is a process that takes time. And I can tell you on the other side of it, it is 100% worth it, because once you get through that, you will understand, if you seek the Lord, that what Satan in the spiritual battle meant for your evil, God will use for your good.
Oh, yeah.
I can testify to that 100% that to be true, but it is not easy. It's like learning to run a marathon, okay? Somebody emailed from the podcast the other day, says, does Paul run a half marathon or a marathon? I said, respond and say, Paul doesn't run over a mile. Like, that's my limit. I'm not much of a runner. So, but the reality is you learn to walk with that, and the freedom that you get, those chains are broken off. And that's the thing about our society that is so heartbreaking to me, is it pits, you know, blacks against whites and Christians against, you know, whatever. You know, it's
that's a whole, that's a subject. After commercial, you've got a lot to talk about.
I do.
So we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, you're going to get on this. But I saw something coming up the road today, and I bet myself what I was going to see when I pulled up next to him, and I did. But there was so much negativity on their bumper stickers on their car, and I thought, bless you, bless you. I felt sorry for them. That's pretty bad. We're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Whether you're in the mood for chicken strips, a delicious burger, our classic banana split, or an upside-down thick blizzard treat, we've got you covered. Hot and fresh food every day, every time. And delicious DQ soft serve make the perfect pair at your favorite place. Not fast food, fan food fast. Your Blue Ridge, Ellijay, and Jasper Dairy Queens are your meet, eat, and treat headquarters.
Thank you for choosing DQ. How may I serve you?
If If you or your business are looking for local advertising opportunities, we have sponsorships available for new programming coming soon on ETC3. Contact us at 706-697-5591.
See us anytime you can.
Whether you're swimming in the sea or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Hello? Hello? How did you know Paul was on the air? Oh my gosh, it's time. It's time. Hold on. It's for you.
She's on the way. I'll be down there as soon as I can get down. See you soon. Love you, honey. I'm a terrible actor, but Sherry talked me into doing that.
A baby has come.
Yes.
A baby.
So I am a grandfather. Hollie and I are grandparents for the first time. So our daughter Katie delivered on Tuesday, December the 2nd. Hollie Kate Buntin. So Katie and Tyler are new parents, and Hollie was with her through the birthing process, and they let me come down after, and oh my goodness. I mean,
did Hollie really want to be in there?
She did, because Katie wanted her there.
Okay.
And Hollie was like, it was the most amazing experience. And of course, Tyler's asking me the night before, because they stayed with us for 3 or 4 days. He's like, what's it like? And I'm like, I don't want to relive all what I saw.
Yeah, you don't.
And I was kind of squirming. I was like, Tyler, look, I don't know how to explain it. You just got to go through it.
But he's going to be a doctor, so he has seen the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And I was so proud of him, too, because at one point, Katie had gotten up after, and y'all, Katie wanted to do it natural without epidural or any pain meds, and she did it. It's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
So Hollie Kate
and we've got some photos. Can we get those photos up?
He said 1 minute.
Yeah.
Hey, you can show them in a minute, but for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of jump into this.
Go ahead and do this.
We're excited.
Yeah.
All right, so there's an article out here that by a guy by the name of Michael Green, and it's called Part 1, My Life is a Lie. Now, I'm a hypocrite because I challenged everybody on the podcast to when all the families, I'm like, look, when you go for Thanksgiving, set your phone down, just have fellowship and listen. Like, even if somebody's on the other side of the political line of what you think it is, you have more in common than you realize you do. Just communicate. Now, afterwards, I just said, show love. So I did great up until my father-in-law and my brother-in-law's, they're Bill and Bill, my father-in-law and my brother-in-law's dad, started watching pro football. I love high school football. I love college football, but I'm not a big fan of pro football.
Yeah.
So I see this new article come out by Michael Green, My Life is a Lie. So I start reading it, which led into an unbelievable conversation. Now, we know families are struggling, okay? We know in the statistics that if you have assets, you're doing great. Okay, so most of the baby boomer generation is just doing phenomenal because you've got all the assets. They really don't understand what's going on with younger families. The government's supporting corporations at the expense of the middle class. They talk about a K-shaped economy. I can get into all of that. But we know people are struggling. I've been trying to communicate this to a lot of the baby boomers because their argument is like, hey, just quit going to Starbucks and you'll be fine. I can get into more of that later. If you make the sacrifices we did, but it's a completely different environment today than what it was back then. I mean, just back in the year 2000, I could get a double wide trailer, put it on family land, put a septic tank in for
$60,000.
Well, we paid $20,000 for the repo double wide. It cost
We
me.
paid 10.
It cost me $10,000 to do to move it, to put in a septic tank system, and then my father had a bulldozer, so he helped a little bit, and I did the grading ourselves to put it on there. And I was very fortunate to be able to do that. But even then, you could buy a lot for $10,000, and I'd have probably been $20,000 in it, so I'd have been $50,000 or less. The regulations do not allow you to do that today because
First-time buyers, $400,000.
it's ridiculous. Okay,
It
so
is
we get
so
in here.
hard. It is so hard.
So Michael Green's a deep thinker. I've known him for quite some time. He talks about the impact of passive investing in the S&P 500, how that's distorted the markets, and he lays out a really good thesis that once we have a recession and we move into net distributors in the for the baby boomers, that the opposite effect is going to take place. Okay, so he's very good at communicating how distorted the economy is. So what he goes through here, and I'm just going to read it, he says, how a broken benchmark quietly broke America. I've spent my career distrusting the obvious. Okay, so we have that in common. And he goes through here and markets and all that. He said, but there was one number I'd somehow never interrogated. One number that I simply accepted the way a child accepts gravity, the poverty line. Okay? I didn't know why. It seemed apolitical and actuarial fact calculated by serious people in government offices, a line someone else drew decades ago that we used to define who is poor, who is middle class, and who deserves help. It was infrastructure, invisible, unquestionable, unquestioned, foundational. The U.S. poverty line is calculated as 3 times the cost of minimum food diet in 1963 adjusted for inflation. So that's what we consider the poverty line. He said, I read it again, 3 times the minimum food budget? He said, I felt sick. And then he goes in the next chapter's measurement failure. The formula was developed by Molly Orshansky, an economist at the Social Security Administration in 1963. She observed that families spent roughly 1/3 of their income on groceries, okay? Orshansky was very careful about how she was measuring, and I'm jumping through here for the sake of time. He said, and he goes through to kind of talk about, for 1963, that floor made sense. Housing was relatively cheap. A family could rent a decent apartment or buy a home on a single income, as we've discussed. Health care was provided by employers and cost relatively little. Blue Cross coverage averaged $10 a month. Child care really didn't exist as a market, a business. Mothers stayed home. Family helped, or neighbors who likely had someone home watched each other's kids. Cars were affordable. If prone to breakdowns, you had to work on them a lot, but with few luxury frills, and neighborhood kids and vocational tech could fix almost any problem, okay? So said it was a formula, but it was crude, and it established a good line. But everything changed between 1963 and 2024. Housing costs exploded. Healthcare became the largest household expense for many families. Okay, side note, I'm saying this, not him. Obamacare has destroyed healthcare. Employer coverage shrank while deductibles grew. Child care became a market, a business, and that market became ruinously expensive. College went from affordable to crippling. Transportation costs rose as cities sprawled and public transit withered under government neglect. The labor model shifted. Okay, it's called the 2-income trap that started in the 1970s. A second income became mandatory to maintain the standard of living that one income formerly provided. But a second income meant child care became mandatory, which meant 2 cars became mandatory, or maybe you simply be asking for a lot, generationally speaking, because living near your parents helps to defray those child care costs, but now they're having to make sacrifices to help you. The composition of household spending transformed completely. In 2024, food at home is no longer 33% of household spending. For most families, it's 5 to 7%, okay? Housing, would you say, you know, you can't find a house for, you know,
$400,000 is the base move-in ready. I've got some for $287 on the market today that I can't get an offer on because they're 2-bedroom or whatever, and the interest is so high that payment is going to be as much as I paid for, as we refer to my house, the big house.
Yep.
The payment for these cabins is more because it's cost so much more. It's just a different. It scares me for first-time buyers.
Well, and you can knock about $100,000 off price of a home if you get these stupid regulations out, which
Exactly.
do nothing but corporations. But anyway.
Yeah.
So with that, housing now consumes 30 to 45% of the income. Healthcare takes 15 to 25%. Child care for families with young children can eat 20 to 40%.
Well, I can tell you right there, that's a lie, because my house payment was exactly 49% of my income last year.
Okay.
My house payment, 49%. Figure out what's
So
left.
that's
My
30
insurance, my car insurance, everything went up. So what am I left with? About $11,000 a year.
Yeah. So he's saying 35 to 45%. He's trying, and Michael Green's careful. Okay, you can pick this apart depending upon what market you go to.
I
but
could
there
throw
you
in
go.
my books and he'd
You're
fall into a
49%.
trap.
So that shows that it's an
Yeah.
underestimation.
Yeah.
Healthcare takes 15 to 25%. Child care for young families can eat 20 to 40. If you keep Orshansky's logic, if you maintain her principle that poverty could be defined by the inverse of food's budget share, but update the food share to reflect today's reality, the multiplier is no longer 3, it becomes 16. Now,
At that year, eggs were 49 cents a dozen. In the year 63, when she was talking, they were
Yes.
49 cents a dozen.
Now, he goes on to say, which means if you measured income inadequacy today the way Orshansky measured it in 1963, the threshold for a family of 4 wouldn't be, listen to this, 31,200, which is what the government says the poverty line is today. It would be somewhere between 130,000 to 150,000 for a family of 4. Okay, now there's people that are going to be balking at that.
But that's the truth.
But I have read this article
That's the
5
truth.
times. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I counsel a lot of young
4
families.
kids, 4 clothes, 4
Well,
tennis shoes.
2 kids.
Oh, yeah, and 2 adults, yeah.
And remember, Orshansky was only trying to define too little, okay? She was identifying, only trying too little. She was identifying crisis, not sufficiency. If the crisis threshold, the floor below which families cannot function, is honestly updated to current spending patterns, it lands at $140,000. What does that tell you about the $31,200 line that we still use?
It's
it
a
tells
lie.
you. It tells you we're measuring starvation.
Yeah.
Is what
Yeah.
we're measuring. And then Plutarch says an imbalance between rich and poor is the oldest and most fatal ailment of all republics. Now, I'm going to go through, and I'll stop here just on the real math of survival. And look, you can argue with me all day long. I manage money for people that have accumulated wealth. A lot of them are baby boomers and some young families that have accumulated wealth. I do counseling from time to time for grandkids and kids of parents and individuals that's a part of one of the things that I donate back to try to help them learn how to manage money correctly. And I've been seeing this for quite some time, but I didn't know how to define it and really didn't know how to explain it. But let's talk about the real math for survival. The official poverty line for a family of 4 in 2024 last year is $31,200. The median household income is roughly $80,000. So you would think, man, the median household is $80,000. Well, they're fine, right? We have been told implicitly that a family earning $80,000 is doing fine, safely above poverty, solidly middle class, perhaps comfortable.
No.
Bull poo.
It's not true.
Okay,
Yeah,
let
it's
me
not
tell you,
true.
bull poo. And if you're a baby boomer out there that doesn't understand this, come have a cup of coffee with me and we'll sit down and argue this out, because you just don't understand what families are facing, because you didn't have to face this, and you're at a point where you're probably debt free, you're in a house, you've got assets, inflation to use hitting a little bit makes you complain, but it's not eating you alive. But if Orshansky's crisis threshold were calculated today using her own methodology, that 80,000 family would be living in deep poverty. So I wanted to see what would happen if I ignored the official stats and simply calculated the cost of existing, okay? I built a basic needs budget for a family of 4, 2 earners, 2 kids. No vacations, no Netflix, no luxury, just the participation tickets required to hold a job and raise kids in 2024, okay? Using conservative national average data, child care, $32,773. Now that's $2,700 a month.
Isn't that ridiculous?
For 2 kids.
That's ridiculous.
Now that may be a little high in our particular area, but that's very relevant in a lot of places. Housing, $23,267. That's $1,938 a month. Can't find hardly anything to rent around here for less than $1,800 to $2,000 a month. There are places.
In
but they're far
reality,
and
it's
few between.
$48,000 a year.
Yeah.
Because house payment, utilities, and your homeowner's insurance, not even counting your property tax, is $48,000
Yes.
a year.
Okay. And because and insurance
Documented.
costs are
I got it
continuing to go up.
documented. Yeah, it's
Food
crazy.
about $14,000 a year. Transportation, okay, so this is 2 cars. This isn't even counting the kids driving. $14,000, which is $1,200 a month. At the cost of cars, you wouldn't. I mean, there are all kinds of families that.
I drive an 11-year-old car.
Yeah, but a lot of families are driving, cars that they've got $500 to $1,000 payments each.
Yeah.
Okay, because they didn't have the assets to accumulate, or they've been convinced. That
I'm just scared to buy anything.
Well, or they've been convinced, don't drive an old car, it's going to break down on you when you can actually get it fixed. Healthcare, $10,567 or $880 a month. I think that's underestimated. Other essentials, $21,000. So the required net income just to participate is $118,000 a year. Add federal, state, and FICA taxes of roughly $18,500, and you arrive at a required gross income of $136,500 for a family of 4.
To survive.
To survive. Now, and I will tell you, one thing that I noticed is families that are in that range, they're not living lavish lifestyles. Yeah, they could cut out going to Starbucks or Netflix or a few things like that, but that's minimal. They don't have enough to save enough to consequentially impact their situation. Because you cut those things out, you're talking $400 a month, and don't get me wrong, that's a lot, okay? But in today's society with the stress, there is their participation in society conversations about things you're watching and whatnot. So to finish this is Orshansky's too little threshold. Updated honestly, this is the floor. And so the point that
How can people find that to read it?
So you can go do a Google search. Michael Green, and I don't know if these guys can zoom in on it, but it's
Part 1, My Life is a Lie.
Part 1, My Life is a Lie. Now, I'm just reading you snippets of 28, and he goes in to talking about
It's funny
everything
that you
that's
brought
there.
this today, because I look at what I made and what, as an old lady, I still have to pay in taxes when I'm literally living at a level that I shouldn't have to pay any taxes. I shouldn't have to pay any taxes, but I still have to pay taxes. And I'm just like, when do you get a break? When you die? That's when you get a break.
Well,
it's not fair. It's not fair. And then we see our government blowing money up a hog's tail.
Well, here's the problem. Corporations, for profit, have had the money. Nobody talks about monopolies anymore. You've got, first off, corporations should not be going in and buying residential homes. Foreign entities should not be going in and buying residential homes.
BlackRock shouldn't buy up all the rental property either, and they do.
BlackRock should not be able to do that. But they don't. Wall Street doesn't care about you. They care about profits. Okay.
It's all about money.
And we have to have some boundaries within our society to where it's.
We got to show the baby picture. Oh yeah. Oh, we got to show the baby
sometimes it's
picture.
not about things. Now,
Oh, get off there.
I will say one thing. We got 2 minutes, so show the picture now.
Yeah, please. There's our baby.
But that little girl right there is a reason that I'll spend the rest of my life warning people about this and trying to change the environment that we're in somehow. And it's not going to be in politics, but it's going to be one conversation at a time. But that's Hollie Kate Buntin.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
she's so cute. Oh,
she
my
was
God.
8
and the
pounds.
whole family, can we show the whole family? Did you get that, Trace?
8 pounds,
Yes,
1 ounce.
there's-
And we were so fortunate.
Boy,
for
that's
all
a
of us.
good-looking granny and grandpa.
Oh, thank you. I looked at that and I'm
sweet.
like, man, I'm officially
How
old.
sweet is that? How precious.
So it was sweet to get us all together.
Okay, tell people again, My Life is a Lie.
My Life is a Lie. How a Broken Benchmark Quietly Broke America by Michael Green.
Look it up.
November
Read
the
it.
23rd of 2025. He has opened his portal up so that you can get this without having to pay for it. He's a brilliant mind. He cares about people, and this was very well done. Now, the vitriol that he's received on X and out there, people trying
I'm
to
sure
pick it
it's
apart,
terrible.
they're missing the big picture.
Yeah.
We have
yeah.
a problem that we got to figure out how to fix.
We do. I love you. Thank you so
I love
much
you
for
too.
being here. 21 years, we're celebrating. Yay, party time, party time, party time. We'll see you again soon on ETC. Go to YouTube. You can rewatch this, share this program with everybody you know and love, and make a difference in their lives. I will see you again soon, right here. Yep. Thank you.